Kevin, are we
Dave's
ready to
still
get
there,
started?
yeah, and his wife is still there too, I think, right?
So that, let me ask.
I think his wife is there. He's
Good to
having
go.
a
Go. Okay.
Yeah.
Start.
I think he's still
Meeting is called to order. Southampton Town Planning Board, Thursday, October 10th, 2024. In the absence of the secretary, I'll call the roll. Chair LaFaro is absent. The vice chair is present. Secretary Burke is absent.
me.
Member Mutu.
Present.
Member Neely.
Present.
Member Fulham.
Present.
We have a quorum. Could you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Briefly review procedures. Once we call the application, we will ask for, and we confirm that we have proper posting. We will read the notice into the record. After that, we'll ask the applicant to make a brief presentation of the project using the podium. And following that, we will take questions and comments from members of the board, and then following that, open to members of the audience and Zoom. One thing we do ask, if you wish to address the board, please use the podium. We can all hear you in your seats, but it's important for our sensitive recording equipment that you do use the podium. State your name prior to your comments and any affiliation you have, whether you're an adjoining neighbor, whether you're representing a civic group. Also, in the event of an emergency, exit this room utilizing either of the two rear doors, proceed to the main floor using either staircase, and exit this building using the front or the side rear door. I believe we're going to go in order. And the first one is Eastport Mobile Home Park. In Eastport, do we have notice, council?
We do.
You're free to read, Tom.
Please take notice that in accordance with local law number 14 of 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, October 10th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, and via video conferencing to consider the pre-submission application entitled Eastport Mobile Home Park. The subject site plan application is for upgrading of an existing manufactured home community, 93 units, including lighting, landscaping, roadways, and drainage on two parcels, 13.4 acres and 1.2 acre, situated in the R20 zoning district and located at 251 and 253 Old Country Road, Hamlet of Eastport, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900, 348-2-14.1 and 22.
Very good. Council?
Good evening. The applicant David Jr., Rainbow Troy, 2317 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton, New York. As the legal advertisement indicates, property is located at 251 and 253 Old Country Road, and is a permitted manufactured home community with 93 sites. My client purchased the property in October of 2023 and would like to significantly upgrade it. It needs some major improvements. These upgradings include landscaping, street lighting, and security entrance gates. There were certificates of occupancy issued by the building department in March of 2024 for the 93 sites. So the town oversight with this, which is unusual for these manufactured homes, lies with the state and not with the town. We have received over 30 building permits for sites, which is just for the base level and the strapping, which holds the houses down. So we're in the process of doing that. We've provided the plans which show the security gates, as well as photometric plans for the lights and landscape plans. And we're here for a pre-submission conference, so we'll listen to the board and the public and look forward to working through the process with you.
Is there any type of affordability component to the project?
Well, just their market rate units. There is some discussion about that, but I don't think that it's been finalized.
So all sales or any rentals? Or
It's all rental.
All rental.
All
okay.
rental. Correct.
Can you talk about how the wastewater is handled currently and what's planned?
I think it's handled poorly currently, but upgrades to each individual unit. I think that there is one system per 2 units is how it's working. We're in the process of finalizing the health department as we speak, but we're there, they've acknowledged a 97 unit site, which is 3 more than what the town is permitting.
Are the units currently occupied?
None of the new ones, but some of the older homes that have leases, those leases are being honored.
So you're removing older units and replacing them with newer units? Is that
Yes, that's ultimately the plan. Of course, there are existing leases on the ground that if they are current with their lease and meet the requirements, are allowed to stay.
Any further questions for the applicant? Thank you, Mr. Gilmartin.
Thank you.
Brendan Vickay Lincoln? Brenda, I'm sorry, Brenda.
I am here because this map is not correct. My home is down here, number 68. I own my home. According to this map, I have to park behind my home. I have a handicap sticker so that I can park in handicap space, so I don't have to walk far, which is not true for this place here. They want me to park behind my mobile home, not at my front door entrance. They want me to park behind. They're also cutting off my property, which I had 40 feet. They're now going to give me 25 feet. So that means the walkway that I'm using to walk up to my steps is where I'm going to park my car, because I'm not going to park it behind my trailer and bag my groceries in. And what if I need a ramp down the road? How am I going to get into my home when they're not accessing me? They got all this footage in front of the property. It's the edge of the road. Move that mobile home closer to the edge of the road. That's where it was before. Why are you pushing it back? There's plenty of room for 2 parking spaces and a deck. They have a deck. Where's mine? You want me to come in the back door for my bathroom with my groceries? And I'm not the only one. I'm the only one here. Well, one more man. And I'm the owner. I'm renting the land. And my cesspool is a precast cesspool, and it's not 25 feet. It's on that line. How can they do that? I mean, it's their park. They're going to put in a sewer system for everybody and have a big giant hole in the backyard someplace. Okay. But right now, the lawyer said as long as we paid our property rent, we could stay there forever. That they would build around us. This is not building around us.
This
Okay,
is
well-
at the pre-submission.
Yeah, this is
right?
the earliest.
So it's good to have the feedback
good to have
at this
this input.
time.
And
So
we're
they
gonna-
There's
can
also a water
consider it.
problem. My pressure has been gone for 3-4 months now. You can't, it's outside because my hose wouldn't reach that chair. And inside it's just a trickle. It's not the hot water tank, can't blame it on me. It's outside someplace. I pointed out a gusher coming up, and Rob came and he fixed it. But the one that they destroyed months ago on Woodway, is still gushing water. It's been gushing water since they pulled out all the trees. It went under the road and made a big hole on the other side of the road. And I pointed it out to Rob, and he came over and he filled it in. So he wouldn't have to put up his stockade fence or whatever around it. Warn people that it's sinking ground. But ever since they pulled out the trees, water has been running down the street. They don't care. It's public water. Let it run down the street. It's supposed to be safe for us to live there. Do you have any questions?
No, we're going to look into these issues for you, Mrs. Lincoln.
Okay, thank you.
We have Tiger Gardner.
Okay, my name's Tiger Gardner, and I've lived in this park for 21 years. And I have probably what is the most attractive double wide, because it was used in the very beginning for people to come, like the sales place, okay? And it has 2 decks. It's the only place in the park that has 2 decks. And when I look at this map, let's see, where are we? Over here. What I see is existing mobile home to remain. There are no decks. And it looks like it's 2 parking places here. So I'd like to know, everyone at the old mobile home park that Farrell bought, we all have decks. And so this is saying to me that we can stay there, but you're gonna chop both of our decks off. So I have a problem with that. The other thing is that the roads are not correct. It says first road place, second road place, third road place. No. It's in first place, second place, and third place. Very easy. And on this map, it says first road place, which is just wrong. Okay? That's all. Those are my complaints.
Could we get your address, please?
Oh, is there a lot number that you, a space number,
Unit.
unit number?
Oh, I'm number 73.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I just saw it a minute ago, right here.
Okay. Number 73.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. That's all I really wanted to come and say. Oh, except that I don't know what these little black dots are. It looks like a little square dot and a little round dot.
We'll get some answers for you after your comments.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. We have Mr. Catalanato. Great to see you, our former colleague. Sorely missed.
Craig Catalanato, Hamlet of Spionk. It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
I prepared a 45-minute presentation for you. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we'll get it under 3. As we know, the applicant states that he has a pre-approval for that predates SECRA. Out of curiosity, has that been furnished to the town? Has this board seen that? Has that been validated?
I don't think we have. In fact, we have.
Yeah, I think that I'd be curious to see that approval that predates SECRA. But assuming the applicant is correct, a group of community members emailed State Assemblyman Fred Thiel and asked if this project was in violation of the New York State Green Amendment, which is Article 1, Section 19 of the New York Constitution, which reads, "Each person shall have a right to clean air, water, and a healthful environment." We did receive a response from Mr. Thiel. He said, regarding the Green Amendment, guaranteeing New Yorkers clean air, water, and a healthful environment, such amendment confers no additional regulatory authority on any state or local agency. However, and here's a big however, the amendment does impose a standard on all government entities in New York State that must be adhered to. So in one sentence, he said there's no authority. And then the next he said, but there is a standard. So my question was, well, it's reasonable to expect SECRA to be a standard. So here's my ask to the planning board this evening and to the town. I'd like this board to petition the town board or send a referral to the town board asking to petition the state to ask or clarify what these standards are. Whether or not this site plan review for this application without SECRA is in violation of the Green Amendment. Because if we don't know what the standard is, we don't know how to apply it, and we don't know how to properly move forward with this. Because as we all know, usually an application like this would be subject to secret. The applicant is stating that he's within his rights to proceed without secret, but there are 2,100 people that live in Eastport, all of which apparently are guaranteed rights under the Green Amendment. Right now, those rights are being ignored. If New York State is serious about guaranteeing the residents of Eastport clean air and water and a healthful environment, then let this board be the first that starts the chain of communication between a municipality and the state. Right? So from this board, a referral to the town board to the state, asking to clarify the standards. This application is actually an opportunity. It's an opportunity to clarify what New York State expects from municipalities in considering projects that claim exemption from SECRA, but clearly will have an impact on air, water, and the healthy environment. I thank you for your time. It's great to see you. I'm going to pass out some stuff regarding the Green Amendment, which I found actually really informative.
Greg, are you representing any group?
Just myself.
Just yourself? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you have a copy of the letter from Assemblyman Thiel in the material we're
I can
getting?
email it to you all.
I
Absolutely.
would suggest maybe
I'll be happy to do
we'll
so.
all take it. Certainly, I know Christine would want to see it.
Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? If not, we're going to open it to Zoom. Kevin, is there anyone on Zoom?
There's one hand up.
One hand up? All right, we'll try and bring him in.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can. Good evening.
Hi, my name is May Zaccarelli. I'm here on behalf of myself and my co-chair of CAC West, Emily Sands. And I just wanted to express our deep concerns over this project due to the density and the current occupants too as well in the mobile home parks. We've consistently we're getting tons of calls from them on their concerns of the overall infrastructure of the park, but also their future in the park too as well. And the overall lack of transparency that has gone on this project from the applicant. We have had them at our meeting and in February, and a lot has changed since then. So we are deeply concerned. And another huge thing is the overall resources of our hamlet. We feel that they are stretched thin to some degree due to this density, and we're hoping that everything can be addressed somewhat during this pre-submission process. As a resident myself, I live in a high water quality area. I live right around the corner from this project, and I just feel that as a resident myself, I'm held to certain standards, including my wastewater treatment system. While I know that that's in the hands of the Department of Health, I just hope that everything as a resident is the same standards go for them. And that's all. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you,
Thank
May.
you for your comments. Kevin, any more Zoom participants? Did you say, what did you say?
One more hand up.
One more? Okay.
Can everybody see me?
Yes,
Hear
ma'am,
me?
we can hear you and speak. Please state your name. Welcome.
Bob Moser, and I live on Dock Road in Remsenburg. I'm also a professional geologist, and I've worked as a professional geologist on many Superfund sites across the country, and so I have an expertise in groundwater contamination and cleanup of contaminated sites, groundwater sites. Was also very involved in the Spionk solvent plume, which is an ongoing project and continues to be monitored by the state. So I'm deeply concerned about the About the wastewater, it was already brought up, and I'm pleased to hear that somebody on the board brought it up. But I'm deeply concerned about the way that the wastewater at that site is going to be handled. I've been there. I've seen some of the. I know what the layout of the cesspools, which was a very old design for dealing with sanitary wastewater. They had since been upgraded to a septic system, which is totally different than a cesspool. And now everybody is leaning and urging people to put in the new IA systems that will treat the nitrogen loading to our groundwater, which is a serious concern. Now, being that it is in the hands of the Suffolk County Health Department, I trust that they will ensure that the wastewater coming from that site will be treated according to groundwater standards, like anyone else would have to adhere to. But I just wanted to voice my concern about that, and hope that for the record to the planning board, and that that you guys also lean on Suffolk County Health Department to make sure that a proper wastewater treatment system is installed. So that's my comments.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Moser. Kevin, any other attendees on Zoom? One more hand?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Stephen Kiley, and I just have a quick comment regarding SECRA. I don't understand how they feel they're exempt from SECRA. This clearly would be a type 1 action, because if you look at the regulations, it's the construction of new residential units that meet or exceed the following thresholds. And threshold would be 50 units not to be connected to existing community or public water and sewage systems. So to me, this will clearly be a type 1 action. So I just want the planning board to take that into account, that I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that SECRA is not applicable here.
It's something we're going to look into.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Conley.
Thank you.
Kevin, anyone else on Zoom?
That is all.
Said no?
That is it, yeah.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Gilmartin, did you want to address any of the issues raised?
Sure. With respect to the first two speakers, if there are issues with the way that the plan is drawn, we'll certainly take that into account and work through that during the site plan process. Secondly, I'm not sure where this idea of came that we're trying to avoid SECRA. We've never made that argument. That's not in front of you. What I would say is your SECRA review is limited to the changes. This property has 2 pre-existing non-conforming COs that allow for the 93 sites. With respect to the changes, certainly it's a decision that this municipality is making, and we have to conform with SECRA. So I don't know where that idea came from. And I want to be clear, and I want this to be clear to the board, because it's not up for discussion. There are 93 sites there that pre-exist zoning, and we have a CO for them. The density is the density, and I am 1,000% certain that when this project is completed, it'll be 1,000% better than where it started from. We're in front of the health department now. We're working through that process. Of course, we have to meet the health department standards. I don't know if there's some representation that they're going to turn a blind eye to this or something, but we're in that process, and we'll get through that process, and you can ensure that during site plan. And again, we look forward to going through the process with you.
Dave, can you meet with those 2 young
Sure.
that were here?
Yeah.
He'll meet with you after on your own.
Did you wish to enter any additional comments?
Well,
But you have to use the podium, I'm sorry.
He's making assumptions that he's putting all these new homes on pre-existing sites. They're not on pre-existing sites. These homes are 1.5 foot wider, 4.5 feet longer than a single wide that's already existing there.
I think he was
Okay?
talking about the number of houses, not the
No.
configuration.
When this park was in operation, there was 114 homes in there, okay? And then you go back and you look in your records and you'll see. And these kids went to Eastport School and they used the access to Tuttle Avenue. And that's another thing I'm gonna bring up, is that we need that access. Because the traffic on Old Country Road, we cannot make a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn. It's horrendous. But I just want you to know, those homes are huge. And that's why they can only put 93 in there. And that's why they're changing everything. And that's why the existing ones there don't have their decks. Not any of the existing ones have their decks. And they cut their property down. But we're still paying rent for the property. Because he hasn't made any changes and notified us of any changes. We're still paying for this big piece of land I'm very upset about, because I have a lot of plants. They're gonna have to dig them up and give them away, because he's gonna come through with the bulldozer again. Never repaired the tread marks. Never repaired the damage. I had to roll logs out into the street when he cut down a tree in the corner of my home. So don't tell me that he's looking out for us. He doesn't. He wants us to be out of there, but he's not giving us a chance to get out of there. And a lot of us can't afford to get out of there. And what he's putting in there is not low-income housing.
Mr. Gilmartin, could you just state what your intentions are for the existing residents? Is there an intent to? Yes.
I'll ask
Yeah.
with the existing
Mrs. Lincoln,
residents.
come on up so you can speak next.
I'm gonna ask Mr. DeSessa, who also represents the property owner, to deal with it. And again, there was never a representation made that this was low-income housing.
Welcome back, Mrs. Lincoln.
This is Gordon.
Gardner, I'm sorry.
I'm Ms. Gardner.
Yep, got
I
it.
thought of something else too. When I moved into this park, every single occupied home had a shed. There are no sheds. I don't understand how these people are going to live in these cookie cutter long rectangles with basically no land around them and no shed. People need to put tools and things, Christmas ornaments, what have you, and that's completely gone. My home has a sliding glass door going from the dining room out onto a beautiful round deck. There's nothing else like it in the park. That, as I said, that seems to be gone. What are we supposed to, I don't even understand how people are supposed to get out of these mobile homes. We're just supposed to like jump down onto the ground because there doesn't seem to be enough. It's just that too many, too big, and not enough land. If they want to turn around and take the density down a bit, and give people decent yards and give people a shed. I don't know who's going to move into these places. I've heard it's going to be $3,000 a month for a rectangle with no decks and no land. So I just want to express, I mean, it's very disconcerting. I'm 86 years old. I can't afford to just go find some other place. So they're taking away both my decks, and I'm not going anywhere. But I mean, it's just not right to do that to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. DeSessa.
Good evening, members of the board. Brian DeSessa, 2331 Montauk Highway, on behalf of the applicant. I can address a few of those comments to the board and answer any board questions. Mr. Chairman, to your question, people that are currently in the park that are paying are able to stay in the park. That we've said that from the beginning. I said that in November of last year when we were contacted. I said that at the public hearing that we had at the firehouse in Eastport. And then there was a distinction made from people that were paying or not paying. There's also a lot of other things. So the differentiation of where these sites are, because these are not subdivided lines. These are sites that were identified back on a 1958 plan. There's current residents, there's current units that are not on any of the lines, and there are units that are outside the line. So when you see this plan, this is a plan that represents where the lines are supposed to be and ultimately where things will get developed down the road. So as units get added, they will be added to the center or the right third of the property so that parking on site is attainable. So to the speaker's comments tonight, they're correct. Some of them look like they're closer than others, but that's because those units that have been placed over the years are either not on the lot that's identified that's with the town or otherwise. And if you go there now, there's also units that are not even on lots that are recognized by the town. So there's also there were at one point, based on areas, 114 units there, but there's 93 pad sites there. So there was a 97 pad site plan that was stamped by the health department in 59 that came before the zoning board in 61 and in 68. That resulted in a total of the pre-existing getting declared at 93 based on that. So they had asked for more from the zoning board in 61. The zoning board didn't give them that. That's where we came up with the 93 that the building department issued a permit for. So over the course of history, there have been more than what the C of O says, but there have also been units located not on lots that are identified by the town. So in correcting that here, this is an ultimate goal, not 1 year, 3 year, 5 years. As units get replaced on lots that are there, or if people leave, they will get relocated on where the lot they're supposed to be. With respect to decks and sheds, the units themselves don't have to comply with any, they're regulated by the state, not with the building department for the town. However, stairs, decks, and sheds, which are accessory structures, are regulated by the town's building department. And if they don't have a permit, they don't meet the WIN rating, they can't stay there. So other things that they'll either have to be corrected and upgraded to meet those codes, because anything you attach to a mobile home that is regulated by the state has to meet codes for the town of Southampton and the building department. So there will be change that is coming. There will be change in the way the units are laid out because they're going back to where they're supposed to be based on back in the 50s when this was laid out with both the health department and the town prior to that.
The decks, they're constructed by the homeowners, right? They're not constructed by your client. The
Correct.
decks and the stairs.
Well, no, the stair, when we finalize these units, we'll put stairs in because you have to be able to
But
get in and out of the units.
The existing units?
Well, there's a lot of things that were built there without permits prior to my client getting there. So there are decks, there are things that were constructed previously. With respect to infrastructure, the proposal before this board, before the health department, before the Suffolk County Water Authority is to upgrade and improve all the infrastructure. So as part of that application process, new water mains are being run, fire hydrants are being proposed, drainage is being proposed, new roads are being proposed. The variance that, the waiver, I should say, that the previous owner got from the town board to not have lighting, we're asking to put the lighting in pursuant to the code. So like it's being changed and improved, but that takes time. And people ask, why hasn't that changed so quick? Certain things I can go to the building department and get a permit for. Certain things I have to go to the planning board. Certain things I have to go to the health department for. So if there was one stop and I could do it, it would have been planted out, it would have been done. But everyone knows what that application process looks like. Run a new water main, run different things, get light. We're here for lighting. We're here to reestablish buffers that have been removed or have not been there in some time. And we're here for roads and drainage. So those are the three items that we're here before this board on. The site plan, the number of units, that's already been decided by the town. We're working out with the health department. To comment on that, in 59, the health department authorized 97 lots. As of today, I still have a permit that's active with the health department for the maintenance of 97 lots and units. And that's valid as of today under a permit. So, when you say we don't have approvals and they don't have permits, that's an inaccuracy. We're working with the health department now, pursuant to meetings that we had with Janice and Sean to put in IA systems for the park, right? That's not a requirement. That's a requirement on lots that are vacant, not a requirement on replacement units. However, we are upgrading those as well, and that's an ongoing process with the health department. Not before this board now, but just in terms of questions that are being asked. Happy to ask any other questions that the board may have.
I think at our work session, I had asked about the legal documents, leading up to this point, because there had been a lot of, discussion of that. And I think Mr. Gilmartin had offered to show them to me. I declined the offer, but I would like to make sure that we have in our files copies of.
Which one specifically?
Well, I believe we were talking about the COs.
You have those in your file.
In our last conversation.
You have those in file.
Those are in
town
our
hall.
planning
They're in the
file. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we have the documents.
You have copies of the certificates of occupancy. You have copies of I believe the initial 1959 stamped permit from the New York State and Suffolk County Department of Health for 90
They'll be in our
units.
planning files as
You have all
opposed
those.
to
Yep.
building department files. Okay.
Brian, is there anything you can do to help them? You're hearing them talk about, they're concerned about their decks and stuff. Is there anything that you can do to kind of?
Yeah, I'm happy to have a discussion, and I've said that all along. Everyone over there has my number. They can call me, and I'm happy to do something. I mean, our goal is, look, it doesn't look great right now. We want to get the buffers. We want to plan. We're waiting to move forward with this board before we can do that. I mean, October, November are great times to plan and get everything reestablished, but it's a time process, so I have to see how long this process takes to do that.
Shaking their heads, so.
I get it. I would be upset too. I'm not innocent, not. I get it.
Well, this is the very earliest stage of the application, pre-submission, so thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
Mr. Martin, you're good to go, right? Okay, so we're going to keep the written record open for a period, I believe, 30 days. Please send letters in, emails. They all get entered and read by us and entered into the record. So we appreciate all your comments and coming down here. Eastport is not around the corner, and we know we appreciate what it took to get down here to speak tonight. So thank you for that. I'll entertain a motion to close with a 30-day written comment period. Motion by George, second by Kate. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? You're 4 yes and 2 absent. Thank you again. We are moving to Eastport Bible Church. Do we have notice, council?
We do.
Okay, George, you are free to read.
Please take notice that in accordance with local law number 14 of 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, October 10, 2024 at 6 p.m. at Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, and via video conferencing to consider the site plan / special exception application entitled Eastport Bible Church. The application proposed to demolish 2 single-family dwellings and to construct a 6,000 square foot member meeting building and associated parking spaces involving 4 parcels totaling 2.108 acres, situated in the R20 zoning district and located at 386 Main Street and 4, 6, and 8 Tuttle Avenue in the hamlet of Eastport, Suffolk County, tax map numbers 900-349-2-13, 15.2, 15.3, and 17.
Very good. Welcome.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Craig Tillinghast. I'm on the board at Eastport Bible Church and also on our construction committee. We have our site engineer, Jeff Butler, here with us tonight, and our lead pastor, Caleb Kemper, here as well. But as you so succinctly put it, that is exactly what we're proposing. We do have 4 tax lots that ultimately will be combined into one. The site is on Montauk Highway and Tuttle Avenue. It's located adjacent to an auto repair on the corner, and that would be to the southwest. Across the street on Tuttle Avenue is Eastport Elementary School. To the north is a single-family residence, and to the east is the Eastport Cemetery. And as you know, the proposed building is approximately 6,000 square feet. It's proposed as an accessory building to our existing church, and as a multi-purpose activity and kind of recreation building right on the north portion of our church property. The new building is proposed, like I said, in the northern section, which is kind of where the 2 dwellings are. One dwelling we've already removed under a demolition permit, The other dwelling would be up in this area. The church also owns that as well. So also, as you know, pursuant to town code, the church is a church or place of worship is a special exception use. The application does meet the special exception general standards as set forth in section 330-122 of town code. In addition to the general standards, there are also specific requirements for a church or place of worship pursuant to section 330-128 of town code. These include a lot area of not less than 2 acres, a minimum 200 feet of frontage, a 50-foot setback for buildings, a 20% maximum lot coverage, and off-street parking not located in any required side or front yard. The site plan that's before you does conform to those specific requirements. As far as parking, we're proposing there will be 81 parking stalls proposed. 6 of them will be handicapped accessible under town code based on the occupancy of the church building. 71 parking stalls will be required. There are approximately 10 parking stalls over. Septic and sanitary, based on the property location, we're proposing an IA septic system for the proposed building. Suffolk County Health Department has completed their technical review and is just subject to final paperwork submitted by us, which includes filing a covenant and the town planning board approval. As far as the landscaping goes, a detailed site landscaping plan is provided. Approximately 48% of the site will be vegetated. A staggered row of evergreen buffer plantings are proposed on the north property line in this area that's adjacent to the single-family dwelling that's there. Site lighting is being depicted on a site lighting plan, and it conforms to dark sky requirements. As far as the general building design, do you have colored renderings that were?
I have that packet there.
Yeah, let me see. Actually,
I could see if you have them electronically. It's the same thing I have there.
you have that. I think this was just submitted.
Do we have
I think it's right there.
You have that. Oh.
There's a couple copies there too, if you want.
Okay, this is a little different. Oh, if you want to pass this on, this was just submitted. So you can, there's elevations and colored renderings there. But basically, just briefly on our building, approximately a little more than 2/3 of the building will be about 4,125 square feet. The main floor will be an open area for multi-purpose activity and like recreation area. The remaining 1,862 square feet will consist of offices, restrooms, a kitchen, foyer space, and storage room. That would be up in the front portion of the building. See that line? This would be the open area and the other spaces there. There will be a second floor, approximately 700 square feet under a portion of that section of the building there. That'll total about 700 square feet. That'll be used for like a meeting room or meeting area. The exterior of the building will be cedar shingle siding, painted white. White windows and doors with divided lights and gray standing seam metal roof. The building elevations have been referred to both the ARB and the Landmarks Board, which are both meeting on Tuesday the 15th, right around the corner. So I'd just like to ask our lead pastor, Caleb, to come on up and just share a couple thoughts about the building, if you don't mind.
Good evening. My name is Caleb Kemper. I am lead pastor at Eastport Bible Church, and I just want to say that we are grateful to be in and part of the community. As you well know, but maybe others don't, our church celebrated 200 years 2 years ago, and so we've had 200 years in the community, and as a church we've undergone 4 major updates through the years from the 1850s to the 1980s. And so as we look to the future and recognize that we have a number of limitations and constraints, we said, you know what, there's a great value and historicity to the building that we currently possess and use. So we don't want to touch, and we're not going to do anything to that building. So that's why you see the plan has an additional building across the parking lot, because it preserves that space that we are currently using. But we recognize there's a great need for space. Right now our spaces are a bit divided, that we have a good downstairs space, but sometimes that means when we try to have a larger gathering, our seniors and our people who can't navigate the stairs are excluded. And we want to be a place of inclusion, that everybody's able to be involved and participate. We have a number of youth programs that take place, and we have a good relationship with the school. As you can see, we're just across the street from Tuttle Avenue. They've used our building in the past and parking lot. We use their gym on a regular basis, but we're also subject to their schedules, and there are a lot of opportunities that we're not able to pursue simply because of our space limitations. If you looked at our schedule, you'd see basically every night of the week there's something happening for adults or for kids, for teenagers, for youth. And as we all saw through the pandemic, one of the greatest challenges that our communities face today is that of isolation and loneliness. And we want, especially for those in our younger demographics in the community, to have places to connect. And so there's places for boys, for girls, for teenagers, with groups that vary from 20 to 40 or even more. This summer, for example, we had an average of about 200 kids each day of the week in the summer, as we had a children's kids camp take place. And we were a little bit concerned because even though we'd set up a tent, the forecast did not look great. Thankfully, the rain held off every morning till the afternoon. But we would have had a lot of disappointed children on our hands if we'd had to cancel due to the rain. And so the reality is we just need more space and more opportunity. And so the plan that you have before you is as multi-purpose of a conception as we could have, to say we want a place for activity, but we also want to have a rollout stage where we can gather everybody together, whether it's a wedding reception that people are having. We've had a couple weddings just in the last few weeks here. There's a lot of opportunities and a lot of needs that we are pursuing. As we look at this, we've called our campaign the Unlimited Potential Campaign, because we want to have a space that gets rid of some of those limits, but really can be used for anything, for everything, to impact, to benefit our community, and especially those younger members who are a part of it. And so we're just grateful for your consideration. We're grateful to have been a part of the community for the last 200 years, and we're excited to see how we can continue to be a support to the Eastport community for another 200 years. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We're available to answer any questions that the board may have.
Only quick question, do you plan on leasing your facility out to outside groups, catering, outside weddings, and so forth?
No, we don't. It would be for church use.
Strictly for
Yes.
church activities?
Yes.
Okay.
Are there kitchen facilities and things like that?
There is
planned,
there
or-
is a proposed small kitchen, yes, but that would be mainly used for like a church potluck dinner or something like that, or sometimes some of our youth programs might use it to do some kind of baking thing or whatever, that type of thing.
Further questions of the applicant? Is there anyone in the public who wishes to be heard on the Eastport Bible Church? Kevin, is there anyone on Zoom? You have one hand, bring him on, if you can.
They put their hand up by mistake.
They put their hand up by mistake, okay. The only thing I might add comes in the wake of what we've seen in the last 48 hours is that to the extent that if your facility is being newly constructed, you could think about possibly installing maybe enhancing some of the restroom or shower facilities. Your facility might at some point be used even for your own congregants as a temporary shelter during storm-related activities, and it would be helpful if you maybe thought about that in your building design committee.
Okay, I'll make a point of that. At this point, the showers weren't proposed, but
Right.
we're kind of a little bit limited on space, I guess.
Yeah.
Floor plan wise.
I mean, you're running the plumbing and conduit anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Understood. I'll make a note of that. And,
it's just something, I mean, we all
Yeah,
turn on the TV every night and see what's going on down there, and it's a little bit scary.
I think it would also have to do with maybe the amount of our toilets and water lavatories that we would need based on the size of the building. If we do have room to maybe get a shower or something in there.
Good.
But typically with our church like this, like for example, if we had visitors come, like missionaries or something from a different country or whatever, they usually stay in the home of one of the congregants. I guess maybe there has been a couple of times where maybe some groups have stayed at the church and then went to somebody's home for meals and things like that. But
it's not something it's not something we're going to be band-aiding, but
we'll look into
design
that.
stage. If
Definitely,
it's
that's
a
good suggestion.
Might be really helpful for even for your own congregants.
We've also been asking during the planning process to consider different eco-friendly elements like solar panels on the roof, EV charging stations, and so worth a consideration as well. And you can work with the planning staff to kind of get a list of those recommendations for your consideration.
Okay. All right, we will.
Pastor, did you wish to be heard?
Yeah. I just wanted to add one thought here. As far as you mentioned with the showers, I know a big concern that I've heard a lot is our flow rate and having to make things constricted. But if that's something that's of value to you guys, there's any exceptions that can be made there. There's great opportunity that we would say, hey, maybe that is something we would be able to add. But at the moment, we're trying to stay within those parameters to say, hey, we're based on the flow rate, here's what we're able to do. But if you guys want to make an exception because you feel that there could be value, that could be something we could consider as well.
Our flow is really governed outside of our board, so we sort of with you in spirit.
Yeah, we'll definitely look into that.
Good.
As far as space goes.
Good. Okay, I think this is public hearing, so we'll get this moved along, close with the 10-day written comment period. Do we have a motion? Motion by Kate, second by Tom, all in favor. Aye, opposed, abstentions. We have 4 yes and 2 absent. Thank you very much for coming down.
Thank you.
Big night for Eastport. Third hearing is Brown Buddha, New York. Do we have,
We
no?
do.
We do, okay. Is it Buddha?
It is
Okay,
Buddha,
I'm gonna read the
someone
notice.
said it's Buddha.
It's been back and forth, but it's Buddha.
Buddha. It's not spelled differently, that's why. Please take notice that the accordance of the public hearing will be held at the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, October 10th, 2024, 6 p.m. at Town Hall, 169 Hampton Road, Southampton, and via video conferencing to consider a pre-submission application titled Brown Buddha, New York. The application proposes the conversion of an existing 4,200 square foot warehouse special trade contractor building into a retail cannabis dispensary on a 0.873 acre property situated in the Highway Business Zone, located at 1533 County Road 39, Hamlet of Tuckahoe, tax map number 900-177-4-4.
Good evening, members of the board. Brian Locasia with the Adam Miller Group, 2462 Main Street, Bridgehampton, New York, attorney for the applicant. As stated in the public notice, we're here to request approval to convert the use of the existing commercial space located at 1533 County Road 39. The property is 38,032 square feet or 0.87 acres and is located within the Highway Business Zoning District. We're seeking approval to convert to the use of a non-medical cannabis dispensary with a focus primarily on delivery services located on the east end. The 42,000 square foot building is currently approved for use as a warehouse and special trade contractor. Pursuant to section 300-33 of the Business District Table of Regulations, a non-medical cannabis dispensary is allowed within the Highway Business District as a special exception permitted use. Section 300-162.26 of the Southampton Town Code sets forth the special exception standards that must be met for this board to grant our approval. The location of the proposed use is in an existing commercial facility which provides ample parking behind the building. This will minimize the visible foot traffic along County Road 39. A cross-access easement has already been established on this property as part of the prior site plan approval for the site, so that'll allow for flow in between the sites within this property and the adjoining properties. The property currently has 24 parking spaces. Included in that is 2 handicap spaces, and together with the existing cross-access easement, we have adequate parking for the use. We offer that the traffic impact will be minimal compared to the prior uses at the site. There'll be 2 to 3 employees on site, and with the anticipation of the sales being majority online delivery, it'll be facilitated through one delivery vehicle handling those transactions rather than multiple vehicles in and out for services. Brown Buddha has obtained a license for the conditional adult use retail dispensary from the New York State Office of Cannabis Management, and based on the regulations set forth in Town Code Section 300-162-26, the applicant has identified a location which squarely fits into the strict limitations on time, place, and the manner of sale set forth in the Town Code. We offer that the special permit standards are met under our application. Special permit use is one that is permitted in the zoning district under the current conditions. We respectfully state that the application squarely meets within those conditions. The property meets all necessary setbacks from school grounds, all necessary setbacks from all neighboring community facilities. The property meets all necessary setbacks from buildings in the neighboring community being occupied exclusively as a house of worship. The subject premises has already been before you for site plan approval, and we are not seeking to change any of the outside structures of these properties. And this stretch has been before you as well for site plan approval for many times. We offer that the transitional yards do not apply due to the lack of adjoining residential neighborhoods, specifically the paper road that shares a highway business zoning district. But even if we are meeting the transitional yard setback of 100 feet, there are no there are no existing residential lots within 100 feet of any of the existing structure. Based on my scaling off of GIS, that house to the northwest is approximately 300 feet from the northeast corner of our structure. And that neighboring community actually isn't even accessible off of Montauk Highway. You have to access it off of Sandy. You can see it. It's a private community that abuts the golf course. There's dense vegetation between our property and the adjoining residential neighborhoods. As stated, we're adjoining a 50-foot paper road, so conceptually that area can never be opened or cleared of that vegetation. And our site, over the years, has actually had to do some required screening in the back portion of the property. So there is existing mature vegetation that will be maintained on site and that has been approved over the years. We're not proposing any additional signage other than the existing sign on the street, just a matter of changing the wording on the sign to identify our business. No outdoor speakers or music features are being proposed. The proposed site plan includes a pedestrian walkway along the eastern side of the building, opposite the vehicular access point to allow for safe access from the parking to the entrance of the building. There will be no drive-through windows. As stated, the existing sign has already been approved by this board, and again, we're just going to be changing the face of the sign to identify our business rather than the prior, I believe, pool contractor who did occupy this business. We'll comply with all unpermitted hours of operation. We'll have adequate security systems pursuant to town code. We provided a plan, but of course that'll be reviewed during the site plan process. And we'll comply with all fire marshal codes. Again, these structures all have existing COs, and any work we do, be subject to all necessary code and fire marshal requirements. In sum, I offer that this application does meet the special permit standards for a non-medical cannabis dispensary, and we're happy to answer any comments, questions either the board or the public may have.
So it's single use?
Correct,
Nothing else
single
goes
use.
on, and the storage building in the back will just
It's,
stay for...
yeah, it's not part of our application, correct, just for the main building.
Dennis, can I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
Brennan, do we have a copy of the license from OCM?
There's one in the file.
There is one, just to make sure that we have.
Yep, we have submitted that, yes, of course.
Can you see it, Christina? Not right this second, I just want to make sure we have it. And then you mentioned delivery, so do you have a written delivery plan that's been approved by OCM?
I believe we do, yes, we do.
Can you give us a copy
Yep.
of that so that we have it on the file?
Absolutely.
And just because I've been fielding calls today, because of an article that came out in the paper, it mentioned that there was people were engaging in curbside pickup. Is that something that you've been engaging in?
To my knowledge, no, and we have no intention of doing any activities until they have site plan approval.
Okay, but is curbside pickup something you intend on doing or are thinking of doing?
It,
And is that
it is
something that
part
you're
of the
gonna-
business model, yes, but it would all be conducted within the approved site plan, using adequate parking. But yes,
Is that part of your delivery plan?
it's part of the business operation, yes, part of the,
I need to know specifically if it's part of the delivery plan that's been approved by OCN.
it is, yes.
It is?
Okay,
Okay, so I want.
okay,
so
well, I
need
will
to
submit
see
that to
all
you, absolutely, you got it.
If I could just, for my own, does that mean delivery to off-site deliveries?
it's
or
really
as
not-
opposed to
it's-
a drive-through window?
It's not really very clear at the moment. I need to get more information on that because curbside denotes something other than, I'm speaking to your attorney just because he's here, so. But as you know,
Yep.
curbside denotes something other than engaging in
Yep.
delivery
Okay.
per se.
We'll need to.
We can
And that
clarify
may
and
be
provide
problematic.
that, of course, yes.
We'll need a description of your
Okay.
business operations for the record.
Because you did say no, though you weren't planning a drive-through.
No drive-through window, correct, yep.
Is there anyone from the, you've noticed, what, let me just see. Sorry. Kim Stetz?
Yes.
Did you wish to be heard on this?
Brian is
Okay. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to be heard on Brown Buddha? And Kevin, is there anyone on Zoom? No one on Zoom? This is pre-submission conference?
Can I ask one other thing?
Sure.
In the delivery plan, is there any provision in there or in any of the licenses that allows you to engage in anything on a temporary basis while you're waiting for the site plan?
I can have the applicant. I don't wanna
Yeah.
speak out of line. Marcus Hayes, he'll introduce himself.
Please state your name, welcome.
Marquise Hayes, good evening, Planning Board. I'm a representative of Brown Buddha, New York. And to answer your question, delivery and curbside are part of the regulated licensing. I have a special license, but moving forward, OCM will give out individual licenses to individuals who apply. So you can apply for a delivery license and curbside would be a part of that. Curbside does not have any transactions. It's a pre-order. You come in to an area and then you receive your package. You don't leave your car, but then you would drive out. It's kind of like a pharmacy ordeal, but currently we are only in the process and we haven't conducted any retail sales whatsoever or delivery or curbside sales upon this meeting. But we are slated to do delivery as of last week, and we just wanted to hear some responses from the board to see how we can move forward.
So when you say you're slated to do delivery, do you mean, am I allowed to ask you? Do you mean that it's in your approved plan or license that allows you to do it on a temporary basis?
Not a temporary basis. We actually have a full retail license currently.
No, I know that, but you don't have approval from this board to have the retail conducted at that premises.
Absolutely.
So what I'm saying is you're not, do you believe that you have a license that allows you to engage in business, notwithstanding that you don't have like a CO for this might be more for your attorney. I don't want to put you on the spot.
I understand the question perfectly. So I stated the retail because the retail umbrella for my specific license allows us to do delivery, have a consumption lounge, and a retail space. That's part of the package. We are only initiating the delivery aspect of that package.
Okay. All right. I'll look at I think you have to understand this is all new for us and working our way through this. We actually have a call into OCM also. But I'll look at all the things that you've submitted and then I'll speak to Brian and you know, we can talk. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
For delivery only, is there a warehousing license for the space where you are storing the product?
We have a built-out secure unit that has to be vetted by OCM. They do an inspection to make sure everything meets regulations and compliance. So we've met the code in order to be issued the license to commence delivery.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Did we ask for any, Kevin, is there anyone on Zoom? Okay. This being pre-submission, we have a 30-day window for public hearing. I'll entertain a motion to close with a 30-day window. That's motion by George, second by Tom. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? We have 4 yes, 3 absent. Thank you, Ms. LaCosta.
Thank you very much.
Brian, we'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
And the last final item is 157 West Montauk. Do we have notice, council?
We do, David, right out there.
Very good. You're free to read.
Please take notice that in accordance with local law 14 of 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, October 10th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, and via video conferencing to consider the site plan application entitled 157 West Montauk Highway. The application is to construct 2 buildings, 8,058 square feet and 5,942 square feet for medical office and office uses on a 1.94 acre parcel improved with an existing diner building located in the HB zoning district and situated at 157 West Montauk Highway, Hamlet of Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-222-1-17.1.
Very good. Mr. Gilmartin, welcome back.
Thank you. For the applicant, David Gilmartin Jr., Greenberg Troy, 2317 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton. Tonight with me I have our engineer, architect, and traffic engineer. So hopefully you can answer any questions you have, and I'll ask Matt Elward, our engineer, to take you quickly through the site plan. I know you've seen it a bunch of times, but I think for the benefit of the public. We've also have a nice picture done by the architect. So I'll show those to you, but then keep them facing the public. And you've seen these.
Yes, we have. Yep.
And this, we had been to the architectural review.
Oh, okay.
And this is after the changes that they requested.
Good.
Good evening. Matthew Elwood with R&M Engineering, Site Civil. As Mr. Goodmartin had said, you guys have heard about it, so I'll be quick. What we're proposing is two buildings, one medical office building out front and a 5,900 square foot non-medical office building in the back. We need 87 parking stalls. We're providing 89. The access is still relatively in the same area as the diner that's there, coming in opposite of 24. We have an access coming in on the eastbound Montauk Highway route. Any questions that you have, it's fairly straightforward.
Questions from the board? We've had quite a couple of very productive work sessions on this.
Yes,
already.
absolutely.
So.
Council has a question.
Oh.
Yeah, I just because I just became aware that some of the discussions about the roundabout might be revisited, and I just wanted to make sure that when we talked about that, didn't we talk about the fact that you had set aside, it didn't matter, the right of way, you had enough room, notwithstanding whether it happened or not. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, so we spoke to the DOT, then we spoke to DPW. DPW owns and maintains County Road 80, Montauk Highway. New York State DOT has 24 coming down. Because it's DOT and the signal's here, the DOT owns the signal. We've spoken to both entities. Neither wants to do the roundabout. Nobody has plans to do the roundabout. However, if the roundabout were to be installed and be designed, the way our site is positioned and the way the exit and entrances are, it would really blend well with the roundabout.
I just wanted to
It's exactly,
note
yes.
that.
Yeah, yeah, it would tie in beautifully. Yeah.
There have been additional conversations.
Have there?
But
because we
folks should continue to do what you're doing.
We just spoke to the DOT earlier this week, and we were asking them. They're not giving it away.
It was the old plan. It was the old plan that we used to create the entrance and the exits. Yeah.
Okay. Is there an Alex Badana?
Yeah.
Yes. Come on up.
Good evening, everybody. Alex Badalamenti, BLD Architects, 31 West Main Street, Patchogue. We're the architects for the buildings. We have been in front of the ARB. We did make changes to one of the buildings to satisfy the ARB. These are, in my opinion, very attractive buildings. The layout is also unique. It sort of conforms to the site. We had a lot of regulations with access to the recharge basin, but I think the orientation and the the buildings work very well for that corner. The two renderings, one is looking southeast, the other rendering is looking southwest, and I think they kind of speak for themselves. They're modern buildings. We're using very neutral colors in both. We have a dark gray for the roofs. We're integrating a composite wood for the facades, and we're using glass. And while we're not in the historic district, we understand that we're sort of transitional, so we also meet with the design guidelines for the, I think they call it maritime mercantile style. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Is there an Eileen McFarlane?
Yes.
Oh, did you wish to enter comments?
Sorry?
Did you wish to speak?
I don't know about speaking, but lots of questions. So.
We'll try to get answers for you.
Eileen McFarlane from Hampton Bays. So I'm excited the diner will disappear. Looking at these, it's my first time ever seeing anything with it. I'm not against medical building. I just don't have any idea what's going on, and we're just looking at it for the first time. So is this a one-story or two-story building? Do we know?
Two buildings?
One story.
One story, two buildings. Three.
Do we know what kind of medical building?
Yes, for one. Can we say it? One of the buildings is leased, pre-leased. It'll be a radiology building testing.
I don't know.
Is not leased yet.
I think we heard radiology but why don't you just pose a list of questions? We'll get answers for you.
Surely. Okay, so looking at this, I'm curious about how you will enter this coming from the east to the west. How will you enter, given what the road is?
Well, right now there's a traffic signal. It'll probably be a delayed signal, the delayed green arrow, so there'll be a short window but the state controls that. So
yes,
coming
but
from the
lanes
east,
on the road themselves, I mean, as far as I understand, going on that road every day, there is not a there's not a space for a turning
there
lane?
isn't now, but I think there's proposed to be an expansion, and we'll get clarification on that for you. Okay, but
so the road might be expanded.
Yeah, the good thing is that there is signalization, there's a traffic signal there, so
right,
that'll really help.
Okay. Do we know hours of operation or?
Medical offices, it's hard to say. They typically, 8:30 to 4 or 5.
Okay. No other questions today. Thank you.
Thank you. Could we get clarification while we're on the subject on access from?
Access, absolutely. The access is going to be at the signal. The diner building is roughly here. So the access is going to be relatively in the same area. There is a left turn, dedicated left turn for those people traveling eastbound, westbound. There is, if you're heading westbound, eastbound, there is a turn lane there. We lined up the driveway with the driveway of 24. Sorry, with the driveway of 24. So this lane here, where we have the dual left turns, one will be a left-hand turn. And we're working with the DOT right now for the signal modifications to adjust for that, for this use.
Okay. Thanks for that clarification. Gail, did you want to enter some comments?
Gail Lombardi, also Hampton Bays, and so I've been in touch with Christine and Kristen, and they were incredibly helpful for Tuesday to try to get, the final SEQA review, as well as, the final plans electronically. And Kristen, I talked to earlier today. You said you sent me a link. Is that correct? On Tuesday? Oh, you're there. I'm sorry. I'm legally blind, and everybody looks the same. So even Dave, come on. You all look the same. So yeah. So are we? So I guess the question is, because in fairness to the organization, I mean, they've been working very hard with you guys. I know that. I, like Eileen, are thrilled to see the diner gone. but I know the community, had the beloved for the diner. I don't personally, I'm not that emotional about a diner, but, I want to get it out to as many people so that at least whether they come or whether they have comments or not. So what will be the time frame? Is it the 10-day window because it's a site plan review? Could you, I don't want to hold these guys up, but can you extend it? Does it hold them
Well,
up?
yeah, we're going to extend it to 30 days for you.
But I don't want, I know
No,
how
no,
hard,
they're-
they've been working.
It'll
and-
keep on deadline.
Okay.
One thing to keep in mind, Gail, is in the front eastern portion of this site, we designated a small node. As you know the sign. The site there right now. There's Welcome to Hampton Bays. So
That's town property, though, right? The Welcome to Hampton Bays?
no, this
No?
would be, this is on the diner. Both.
I was going to say, yeah, because I thought the beautification, that little spot was town property.
So think of what the community might want to see there. Maybe a dedication to first responders or veterans or
That's
combination
fabulous.
thereof. We're going to keep a little area just with signage and maybe some sort of formalization there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, people were concerned about it, and then it kind of got lost in, the HBDOD and a whole bunch of other things,
Yeah.
BES and, all the big, monstrosities in Hampton Bays. And again, I agree with Eileen. The concern, I mean, I've gone to, it's Swanger, right? Swanger. I've gone to some of the radiology up island, and they're very unsightly. So, and I haven't followed the architectural review, so again, you can't do everything. So again, I had seen these, I thought on just online, like I guess maybe on the architect's website. Do you guys have these on your site, the actual renderings, or no?
I don't know if the renderings are on there yet.
Is
We're
there
gonna
some
find that
way
out.
we can?
If we
can
don't,
we
we'll try and
email-
get them up as soon as we
Do
can.
we have an electronic version? Okay, if there's some way, this way I could, we could send it out to
Right.
community members. They don't do anything, then it's not on me anymore. But right now I feel kind of a little bit responsible to get it out. I mentioned it this afternoon at an earlier meeting. So if we can, and but thank you, for all the efforts.
Yes.
And hopefully it will blend in more historically than look like a spaceship. When more historic is to keep with the historic nature. I heard glass, and I kind of the hair on the back of my neck stood up. It'd be nice if it stays in the historic, but architectural review reviewed it. The final, they're done. They approved it? Okay. All right, well, thank you for your time. If you could send it to me, I'll have people write in. If not, not. Thank you.
Keep the record open. Thank you,
Thanks,
Gail.
Gail.
It's always good to see you. Sure, did you want to enter? Come on up. We can all hear you, but we, for the recording equipment, we need to speak into the
Kelly
mic.
McPhail, Hampton Bays. Do we have a timeline?
Well, we're going to close the hearing tonight. We're going to keep the written record open for another 30 days. And after that, within 62 days, we'll be taking an action approval with modification. And then at some point thereafter, we're hoping to see the bulldozers take down that diner. So I offered to do it. We tried to get them to do it over the summer, but understandably they weren't far enough along yet. So we'll get the project moving for you.
Okay, and then about how long before it's all built?
I would say it's about a year build out, year and a half to get it built. Yeah. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a Kevin or is it a Ryan Cody here? Sorry for the name.
He doesn't have to speak. He's a traffic engineer.
Oh, okay.
I think probably confused.
Okay, yeah, he was on the sign-in list.
Just note his presence.
Okay, noted for the record. Kevin, anyone on Zoom? No one on Zoom. So as mentioned to Gail, we're going to keep this written record open for 30 days, get the letters in, get the emails in. It's a busy time of year, but we'd love to get the community input on this as soon as we can and get the project moving forward. Thank you very much. Do we have a motion to close with the 30-day written comment period? Motion by Kate, second by Tom. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? We have 4 yes, 2 absent. Thank you very much. We have a motion to adjourn by George.
Definitely.
Second by Tom. We are adjourned.
All in favor?